We recently had the pleasure of watching Taehyung on one of his live streams, where he shared his thoughts on his upcoming birthday. With his characteristic sincerity, he confessed that he's still unsure how he'll celebrate. He mentioned that he wasn't entirely happy with the decorative banners with birthday wishes behind him and that he'd prefer something more intimate, perhaps from the comfort of his home, chatting quietly with us, or maybe from some special place that allows him to connect more genuinely. What I love most about Taehyung is precisely that authenticity. He's not afraid to say that the grand productions the company organizes for these occasions don't feel entirely natural to him. He wants to experience these moments his way, with the spontaneity that defines him. And this attitude reminds me a lot of Jungkook, who also chose to start his birthday broadcast from home, giving us hours of pure joy and intimacy. They both share that need to keep things simple yet profound, to value real connections more than spectacles. I'm excited for what's to come with Taehyung's birthday. I know he'll see all the beautiful projects fans have prepared around the world, and I hope he'll have the chance to visit some of these tributes when he's in Seoul. Taehyung is a deeply loved person, and he and Jungkook deserve all this pure and sincere love we give them. During the same broadcast, Taehyung also talked about his recent visits to the fan cafe. He said how touched he was by everyone's unwavering support and fondly recalled how this love began so many years ago when we were all so young. The years and the accumulated memories are so numerous that it's impossible not to feel nostalgic. I talked with ARMYs about the old days, about our HYYH era and that old school vibe. It was like we were both pretending to be our past selves, like I was the one from that time and the ARMYs were the ARMYs. Taehyung is a pure and precious soul, and it's clear he loves us fans so much. But in his words, there was also a hint of melancholy, as if he missed the ARMY of those years when everything was simpler. And I truly understand, time transforms things, but some connections remain intact. Taehyung, there aren't enough words to describe how much I love and appreciate you and Jungkook for everything you are. For your purity, for your unconditional love for us, and for that special way you have of making us feel part of your lives. I sincerely hope you receive the same love and affection you give us every day. I'm truly glad that there are still people who firmly believe in Taehyung and Jungkook, because it's crucial to know how to separate the content that companies sell us as reality from what actually happens between them. That show where they put Jungkook and Jimin together, under the same roof 24 hours a day, was the perfect example of what I'm saying. It wasn't a documentary about their friendship, it was a job. They were constantly being filmed, with an entire production team in the kitchen, the bathroom, their most personal space. There was no privacy, every laugh, every silence, every glance was measured and calculated to generate content, to get people talking. It was a glass house, a stage disguised as a home. And people swallowed it all, without realizing they were watching a play, just another performance in their long careers. Then comes the famous blurry moment, the scene that some used as proof of something that never existed. It's incredible how the desperation to confirm an idea can make people see ghosts. There was Jungkook, simply grabbing his phone from the nightstand, an everyday action, one of those things we all do daily. But those who are always looking for fuel for the fire invented a whole story, that he was hugging Jimin to grope him in the dark. Seriously? It's an insult to their intelligence and ours. And the proof that it was all a hoax is right after, we see Jungkook sleeping on the floor, as if trying to escape that forced situation, and then after a cut, he goes back to bed as if nothing had happened, all very normal. It's a script from a bad soap opera, not the life of two real people. Everything that happened on that show, from the silliest conversations to the supposed confidences, was part of the spectacle. Nothing was private, everything was childish, everything was designed to entertain, not to show the truth. But here's the key point that many deliberately ignore: in real life, outside of those cameras, they aren't seen together. They don't go out to dinner, they don't go on vacation, they don't spontaneously post photos together. They don't even try to hide it, they said so themselves on the show. Jungkook was very clear in the first episode of Are You Sure about their dynamic, and Jimin has also made similar comments. But of course, there are those who prefer to turn a deaf ear because the truth doesn't fit the narrative they want to tell. Think about it logically, from one adult to another, does a real couple expose their private life like that? Is a man going to open his bedroom door to the entire world, with cameras filming every second of their time together, so everyone can comment and criticize? Never. A real couple protects their relationship like the most precious treasure it is. They, and only they, decide when and how to share a piece of their world, and they do it their way, on their own terms, not on a reality show paid for by a company. What we saw was an act, just another job on their schedule, a contractual obligation. Now, take your eyes off that fake show and look at what's happened since. Look at the moments Taehyung and Jungkook have given us in the real world. Those encounters in Seoul, that special collaboration on the song Friends that goes far beyond a simple work lyric, that post Jungkook made on his personal Instagram with Taehyung, something that screams this is us without needing words. A true believer in Taekook never doubts, because their faith isn't based on scripted scenes, but on the story they themselves have written with their actions, their looks, their mutual support in important and difficult moments. And yes, I'm sorry to have to bring up the unpleasantness of that show, but it was necessary. It's a wake-up call to those Taekookers who are more like Jungkook haters. Those who doubt at the first sign of trouble, who criticize Jungkook's every move for no reason, who prefer a comfortable lie to an uncomfortable truth. Those aren't real fans, they're just there for the drama, to stir things up and create conflict, not to support two people they claim to admire. And to top it all off and make everything clear, it's worth remembering a detail that many sweep under the rug. That show was filmed 6 months before the company confirmed Jimin's relationship with Song Dae-eun. Everything we saw on that reality show, all that supposed chemistry and living together, was acting. They were doing their job, acting as they were asked, while in real life, things were very different. Taehyung and Jungkook have always been on a different wavelength, on another level, and those who truly know them, those who pay attention to the details that matter, know this perfectly well. There's something many people have noticed over time between Jungkook and Taehyung, their way of relating is unparalleled. It's not just friendship, it's something deeper, almost as if a private universe exists between them, a language only they understand. When they look at each other, there's an intensity that's unmatched. Their hands instinctively reach for each other, as if they need the contact to feel whole. These small details, these gestures almost imperceptible to others, are what reveal the truth of their relationship. On television shows, interactions can sometimes feel staged, but with them, it's never like that. Even when surrounded by cameras and other people, they manage to create a bubble where only the two of them exist. It's as if the outside world disappears, leaving only their gazes, their smiles, and their knowing glances. And that's not something that can be faked. It's spontaneous, natural, and that's precisely why it's so powerful. Then there are the moments away from the spotlight. Those chance encounters in Seoul, where they're seen walking together as if nothing else in the world mattered. Those photos Jungkook posts on his Instagram, where Taehyung is present not as a guest, but as a central part of his life. These details don't need words, because they speak for themselves. It's as if they want to tell the world, this is real, this is us. The song Friends is another clear example. It's not just a professional collaboration, it's a story told through music. The lyrics reflect shared experiences, anecdotes that only the two of them can understand. It's a tribute to their relationship, a way of telling the world what they mean to each other without needing explicit declarations. When you listen to that song, you don't just hear music, you feel fragments of their story, shared laughter, difficult moments overcome together. Those who have closely followed their story know that it's not about re-recorded scenes or exaggerated moments. It's something real, something built day by day with small but meaningful actions. The mutual support in difficult times, the celebrations of achievements, the proud glances when one of them excels, all of that is part of a relationship that transcends the conventional. It's impossible not to notice how they seek each other out in crowds, how their eyes meet even when they're far apart. It's as if there's an invisible magnet that keeps them connected, no matter the circumstances. And that's what makes every interaction, however simple it may seem, feel special. There's no one else who makes them feel this way. There's no one else who can understand them like this. It's simple, direct, and so easy to see for anyone willing to look beyond the surface.